Picture this, you climb off a train or even a plane and you've just arrived in the UK from either the land of the free or, God forbid, France. As soon as you step onto the high street, one of the first things you'll see is one of the most glorious sights the UK has to offer. It's not a mountain range or a Route Master bus, none of that. It's a blue sign running across a storefront with a square on the front of it, made from four smaller yellow squares. What is this logo? Well, my friends, this is Greggs. Now, for most of you from the ever-growing pit of hell and the ever-declining country that is the UK, you'll know Greggs. Even if you haven't tried it, there are over 2,500 Greggs in the UK, meaning there's one Greggs for every 27,000 people, which makes you really proud to be a fish and chip pint drinking citizen. In the UK, we can only agree on two things: our hatred for politicians and pretty much our love for Greggs, with you being able to walk through the door, see a line of cakes, pastries and drinks being sold. All of that's relatively cheap to what else is being sold in the UK, with you being able to buy a pastry, drink and cake for less than what a drink is at Starbucks. Speaking of pastries, it's their most famous item, with a steak bake or sausage roll being a modern cornerstone of British society. In fact, due to the cheap price and quick service, as they're all pre-cooked in a tray when you order, most people could go in and out in less than 5 minutes, spend less than an hour's wage and be fueled for a morning, making it popular with secondary school students, builders, the elderly and pretty much everyone who's going past the shop at any time of the day. Their quick service gives them another major advantage. If you travel down the motorway for more than 30 miles in the UK, you often find a petrol station to fill your car with dinosaur juice, and then when you go inside to pay, there'll often be a small shop inside with drinks, snacks and alcohol for some reason. Just imagine like a mini supermarket, but all the prices are like triple of what they normally are. And because travelling on a motorway in the UK is often stressful for a long period of time, you sort of want something comforting, and whilst all the food is extremely expensive normally in the petrol station, it's normally extremely cheap for the Greggs bit. So it's comfort food, it helps you relax, and also it's much cheaper than everything else, so it basically exploits what people want in that moment. In fact, I went into Greggs for this video to test it, and I was able to enter, buy 3 pastries and pay in under 3 minutes, with it costing about £4 in total. In comparison, if you order at McDonald's or KFC or another big fast food chain, a burger, chips and drink will come to about £10, whilst taking about 5 times longer. So it's actually more convenient for people who want to grab a hot snack on the way home from work, as opposed to any other fast food service that is either expensive, not too quick or too filling. It hits the perfect spot for the modern employee because of this reasoning as well. But in the modern age, we have an increased want for less meat consumption, and whether you love it or hate it, more vegan options. This is also a win for Greggs, as they also have vegan options with the same speed of service and the same cost, so ultimately, everyone's satisfied at the end of the day. As it is basically comfort food at a cheap price and extremely quick, it's a great unifier as there's no social barrier there, and it allows anyone from any background to walk in, grab a drink and a pastry and have no social barrier whatsoever. It's even gone intercontinental, much like anime, any Japanese food on social media pretty much, and cars. It's loved by people worldwide. There are countless videos of people eating and trying Greggs pastries who are American, and they immediately love them, and this is the same for Australia and pretty much every other culture in the world that's tried them. In fact, it's so important in British culture that it has been used in Parliament to ask if someone represents the people by asking the last time someone ate a Greggs or stroll. Not only is it a meal of the people, but it's single-handedly destroying the facade of politicians, with Boris Johnson famously going on radio once, and it sort of became a meme how we produced vegan as vegan, because it shows how people actually are, because it's one great unifier. This video is joking a bit, of course. I am kind of building them up to be this world-beating fast food, when they're kind of just like McDonald's in many ways, minus being worldwide. But really, it's the unifying thing of British culture that acts as one constant throughout the nation, and it's only really my only gripe with them that small bakeries have been lost due to them having their market share stolen. I actually did some investigative journalism on Instagram where I asked on my story, what do people think of Greggs as an experience? Which one person responded with 2222 Max Verstappen, which I think was kind of not the point of it. But other people responded by saying that it's an out of body experience, or that it's a great thing to go and have a look at, and it's also there for you at times of stress, which, whilst it is sort of joking, it does show this reliance on it, that people do want to go there and they do care about it. So honestly, if you are visiting the UK, try it at least once before you judge us, because in the world of worsening politics, horrible weather and a depleting social net, it's one thing that we all have to keep the country together, and also you could sort of understand where we're coming from on all of this. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye.